Dana White came out and he said the fight he wants to make at 170 pounds is Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. And okay, we're all on board for that. It looks as though that's where that's going. Now, without having any information other than what Colby put out, which was fighting words saying Masvidal won't do the fight, Masvidal won't sign the contract. We have no way to know what's going on there if Masvidal's even been offered a contract until now. Now that we're told by Dana that this is what we're trying to pursue, okay, can finally put your cannons in that direction. If Masvidal doesn't want to do the fight, I'm coming at you from this perspective. This is an if. But let's say Masvidal looked at that and didn't want to do that match. It's incumbent on Masvidal to change everybody's mind. If Masvidal wants to go in a different direction, that's a hard storyline to beat. The friends, the teammates, where's the BMF fit into this whole thing? The Colby leaving the gym, they used to corner each other. I mean, that's going to be a hard story to beat. But if, in fact, Masvidal wants to beat it, Masvidal needs to start that story. And there are a few players on the board. As good as that story is, as competitive as that match would be, as much on paper as that makes sense to do, I'm talking about Colby versus Masvidal. I feel I could pull an ace out of my sleeve if I was to throw on Masvidal versus 3-piece and a soda. Right? Masvidal versus Edwards is ever bit the story, and that is ever been a fight that has to happen. Those guys have to fight. Masvidal knows that. Leon knows that. You don't touch a guy up in the back and then not get in the... They both know that. They wouldn't disagree with me. The question is when. The question is timing. Masvidal goes on to be the biggest star in the sport. Leon goes on and has taken the last 16 months off. I mean, it's a timing issue. But if Masvidal would like a story to captivate our imaginations more than Colby, there's a card he could play. By example, it appears that Chimaev is now available. Getting a booking of Chimaev versus Colby, Chimaev versus Edwards, Chimaev versus Masvidal, if you're talking about what the fans and the media will buy, and I don't mean buy in that they'll pay for a story that they'll buy and go, yes, this makes sense. I'm in for that. That one works too. But there doesn't seem to be anybody pointing their guns at Chimaev aside what we had Neil Magny do it. We know Kevin Holland will do it, even though Kevin's up at 185. And it appears that maybe they're just going to move Leon Hazmet to a different date. My point remains, though, and my point stands, that Masvidal is going to be encouraged to do the Colby fight because that's the best thing we have. That is the best option, and now Dana White is talking about it, which just throws fuel on a flame. If that isn't the direction Masvidal wants to go with his career, he's got to come out. And Masvidal's a great storyteller. Not to mention he's got a good platform. And Masvidal is out there. He's doing things on YouTube. You can find Masvidal. He's doing things on social media. You can find Masvidal. But Masvidal has not offered us a better story. At one point, Masvidal said, and this was after the Kamaru-Usman fight, I want to fight Kamaru again. I learned everything I need to learn in that match. And by the way, I didn't have a training camp. Well, guess what, George? That's an easy sell. You're right. You put up one hell of a fight with a guy who was ready to fight. Regardless of the rounds won or who the championship left with, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth that he deserves to get that again, but with a proper training camp. But I don't see him aligning himself to take on the winner of Usman versus Burns. You don't see Masvidal miss many shots, but you will miss every shot that you don't take, and he's not taking a shot right now. Unless he's secretly wanting to fight Colby, planning to fight Colby, in training for Colby, he's just going to take it and that's it, and we go on from there. I'm coming at you from a perspective of if he doesn't want that. If he doesn't want chaos, he needs to start a new narrative because we're not going to do it for him. The fans and the media are all pointing the same direction, and now Dana is. That fight's either going to happen or George is going to have to change the dialogue.